Ann Coulter's on the line, and I happen to know that you had an opportunity probably last night. You could go see Julius Caesar and Donald Trump in the park. Did you go?
It's really just become a contest to see which liberal can do the most awful, ugly performance art against Donald Trump. But this is working to his advantage. They are so hysterical and so over the top, and have been from the moment he came on the scene. I mean, everyone should remember, this is a media that absolutely adamantly opposed Donald Trump throughout the campaign, and the voters said, well, yes, even so, we think we're voting for him. So that's the media we're talking about, and they really, I mean, you can't keep up with the gusher of attacks, of faked murderers of Donald Trump and the beheadings and names he gets called. That is so much a part of what the media consists of these days. Hypotheticals. There's an entire segment on Lawrence O'Donnell the other night on what if Donald Trump destroyed the tapes? Well, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they can't help it, Dan.
But what I'm worried about now is that Sessions is testifying this week, and as an outsider, oh gosh, I've seen this happen over and over and over again, and I feel like I'm watching a slow-motion car crash.
Yep.
I mean, Sessions is a lovely, genial,
decent
genteel person, but this is no time for kindness, for humility. No, he has got to be aggressive. You will remember the end of the Donald Rumsfeld, really the end of him having any power whatsoever and becoming a figure of contempt and hate was when he apologized for Abu Ghraib.
Right.
No apologizing. Trump was right. Sessions should not have recused himself. The most outrageous thing we found out, and the only reason we found out, was that Trump sent out that tweet suggesting that he might have tapes of those meetings with Comey. And suddenly Comey got honest.
Right.
And for the first time, the public found out that Trump was not under investigation. I just read through the May 3rd hearing with Comey the other night. That was before the taping tweet. And over again, he is asked whether Trump is under investigation and refuses to comment. As I said on Tucker the other night, if this were a private citizen, this would be outrageous to have all this press about a possible investigation of a person. That person has been cleared, and the prosecutor just peevishly refuses to tell the public, no, he's been cleared, he's not under investigation anymore, to allow wild stories to get bigger and bigger in the press. But in this case, we're talking about the President of the United States, whom, as he said, and Comey was forced to admit, afraid that there might be tapes, Trump kept saying, "You're impeding my ability to do my job. You got it. You keep telling me I'm not under investigation. You got to tell the public.
Right.
This is interfering with my ability to serve the American people." Well, because of these endless leaks from the investigation, we all know, everybody knows, I think there are 4 people under investigation, and who knows, they could be completely cleared, but being looked at in this ridiculous Russia probe, and that is Paul Manafort, Roger Stone,
Carter
Page, Jared Kushner. Is there anybody else?
No,
I think that's it. Okay, so Roger Stone didn't even work for the campaign. He is not a million miles near the White House. Carter Page and Paul Manafort, they only came onto the campaign the last 2 months. All of them so far, no place within the White House. Only Jared Kushner is in the White House. If Jared Kushner quits, there is absolutely no justification for an independent counsel. The president is not under investigation. Even if Jared Kushner doesn't quit, I'm not sure there's grounds for a special counsel. Is there some special relationship between Jared Kushner and the Attorney General? Jeff Sessions? No, I don't think so. Moreover, this idea that Sessions needs to recuse himself because his job was United States senator. He is doing what United States senators do, meeting with ambassadors, something all these Democrats have done dozens of times. There are photos of Claire McCaskill tweeting out, about to meet with the Russian ambassador.
And Pelosi, too.
It's like robbing a bank or something. No, that was his job. Yes, he endorsed Trump, and yes, he introduced Trump at some rallies. That wasn't his job. He endorsed Trump. His job was U.S. Senator. He should never have recused himself. He should go on the offensive, say, this is nonsense. I'm a nice person. I was trying to comply with you, but you have gotten out of control, and we can't get anything done for the American people. I am not recusing myself now that we finally know, and Comey has finally admitted that Trump is not under investigation. There is no need for a special counsel. Mueller's out.
He fires Mueller. You think that he can do that? I don't.
I think he's going to go and do the Rumsfeld thing. This is why I say it's a slow motion plane crash.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's. And
by the way, I'm sorry, I'm going on so long, but that leads back to your initial question about the Caesar in the park with the dramatic murder of Donald Trump, or the Donald Trump character. What is the downside of firing Mueller?
There is none.
You think, all upside, not going to waste the president's time. We can actually start building the wall, deporting dreamers, bringing jobs back. No downside except, the media will be hysterical.
They're hysterical anyway.
Would anyone notice? How do they ratchet it up any farther?
They can't. You're absolutely right. They can't. And I'll tell you, the other thing that's amazing to me is this constant barrage of disgusting words coming out of the various Democrats. Now we got Kristen Gillibrand using the F word during a speech, and they.
What did she say?
Oh, she uses the F word talking about Donald Trump. It's pretty unfortunate. She, listen, this is amazing to me that all of the things that they've been predicting were going to happen when Donald Trump became president are happening on the left side of the aisle.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable to me. And yet you can't get decent coverage. And unfortunately, and you and I both know this, there's too many people who are protesting their innocence, and they ought to all shut up, including the president, who I stand behind 100%. But I don't think he needs to testify or offer to testify. Any good lawyer, you're a lawyer, would you allow him to testify?
Well, I must say I'm torn on that point because, no, you're absolutely right. Lawyers are killjoys. We always say, don't talk.
Do it. Don't do it.
Don't testify. Yeah, that would be legal advice, but my political advice is, you got to testify. Trump is very good. He doesn't need the instruction I'm saying that Sessions need. I promise you, his first instinct is not abject apology. And oh boy, do you need that dealing with these monsters in the press.
Yeah, well, he needs to, get a handle on this Republican leadership, because I've never seen anything so ineffective. Can you imagine if Democrats were in control of both houses and the White House, that there would be a special counsel, there would be any investigations going on whatsoever against President Obama and Attorney General Lynch, who apparently really did interfere? I mean, it's crazy. Nothing like that happens.
The comparisons to Eric Holder, Loretta Lynch, and this showboater Comey. I mean, I can't even get into that. I just want our side to come out swinging, i.e. Sessions, and fire Mueller. Now that we know this whole thing has been a charade, with Comey finally admitting what he outrageously refused to admit before, that Trump is not under investigation, and all of the people who are even being looked at in this investigation have nothing to do with the current White House, had very little to do, if nothing, in the case of Roger Stone, with the campaign, but for Jared Kushner, and he's talked about going back to New York anyway. So go back to New York, and there is no justification for a special counsel, not even the thin reed of a justification.
Yeah, and when you've got Alan Dershowitz saying that, boy, I think you've pretty much lost that one battle. But here's what, really concerns me, and I say this over and over again. There is a sort of a hunger for the destruction of this man that speaks poorly about the American political system. I mean, it's not enough to, and I lived through, the attacks against Ronald Reagan. I lived through the attacks against Bill Clinton, but it was never so disgustingly personal. It was never so arrogant as I see now with every effete intellectual snob who just, well, I don't support Donald Trump. I'm glad to see him self-destructing. And I'm talking about my Republican friends saying that stuff.
Yes, the arrogant point is that is a good one, because I think of the politicians, and there are some whom I hate with the hot hate of 1,000 suns. And I mostly try to bite my lip, unless it gets important, like Marco Rubio runs for president. But even then, one thing I hate most about public life, people who talk about politics, is the fake bravery and the seeking approval from the left.
Yeah.
Oh, no. And you can just see them, smiling like the Cheshire cat after attacking Donald Trump. Oh, will you like me, Chuck Todd? Will you like me now? Nicole Miller, will you like me? Katie Tur, I just said something really mean about Trump.
Yeah. Well, people are building careers off this. It's frightening to me. I mean, MSLSD, when you look at some of the people who are, hosting their own programs who have nothing to offer the American public discourse.
But they hate
nothing.
Trump.
They just hate Trump, and that seems to be enough. And then you look at what was left of the conservative media in terms of Fox News. Look, I can't watch it anymore. With very few exceptions, if I know you're going to be on, I might turn it on. Oh
my gosh, Fox News is only getting better. What are you talking about? They replaced that liberal triangulator who would never lift one finger to defend you or me or any conservative, Bill O'Reilly, with Tucker Carlson. That is all win.
Yeah, well, that's
and
1 hour.
That's the only change. That's the only new one. If this is what the Murdoch Sons are doing, I say bring it on. Let's get some more changes.
No, I disagree. I look at that 5 o'clock program, the 9 o'clock program. It's funny. Nobody likes these. No, they're awful. They're awful shows, which drives viewers away.
None of those are new. That's the old Fox. That's the Fox I'm hoping the Sons are going to. I mean, we have, but this primetime right-wing real estate. It's one thing when the liberal networks, when the best conservative they can get to defend our case is Meghan McCain. When the conservative network is doing that, I think we have a problem. But no, the only totally new show, new host, is Tucker Carlson, and that is the best show on TV.
I have my moments with that, too. I agree with you that he is, at his zenith right now. But, this is a man who worked for CNN. This is a man who I've read things that he's written in the past that seems to be on whatever side is winning. And, I'm very jaded.
He sure isn't now, and I must say back when it was tough and a challenge to his career, he was always with us on immigration, and he was the only voice on Fox News who was. You were bad in the past. You were a commie, sister.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess you make a good point there. But it is. It's enough already. And I love the article that you wrote about. Especially watching all these anti-Sharia protesters being punched by fascists calling themselves anti-fascist. And you said, look, if you want to know how this works, look at Poland. Look at these countries that don't allow Muslim terrorists to move into their country. They don't have any terrorism. This is not rocket science.
I mean,
Japan.
It sounds harsh, but how harsh is it compared to those little girls being blown up at the Ariana Grande concert? How harsh it is compared
a year
to
ago, the Pulse nightclub. That's right.
An emergency situation. Look, there are lots of nice Germans. We didn't bring in Nazis. We didn't bring in lots of Germans during World War II. The point is, and look, Muslims who are already here and are not posting, love notes to ISIS on their Facebook pages, they're here. They're in. Yes, many of them are lovely shopkeepers, and all their daughters are going to Sarah Lawrence. That's great. That's fantastic. But the issue is bringing in such a huge number of Muslim immigrants along with them, we will get a small percentage of terrorists.
Yep.
So right now, we need to stop bringing in even the ones who will end up being lovely shopkeepers.
Yeah, I agree with you, but unfortunately, I'm looking at some of the numbers coming out of this administration, and they're not good. There's more dreamers being admitted than I had ever dreamed possible, and there seem to be more refugees from these, Islamic parts of the world that are not being properly vetted. So, we've got a lot of work to do. I'll be in D.C. in a couple of weeks again with an anti-illegal immigration rally that is now focusing on stuff, that has to do with these refugees and this sort of farce, this dance that we do.
That's part two of what Trump needs to do. I mean, the entire administration, this week's sessions, they've really got to come out swinging. If Ann were czar of the Republican Party, I described what Sessions needs to do. No foot scraping and bowing to these swine. But part two is Trump needs to do the stuff that we want him to be doing.
That he said he was going to do.
And he kind of hasn't been getting to that yet.
No.
I think he will soon. But if he wants to have really an unbreakable bond with the people, start deporting the dreamers and build the wall.
Yeah.
He could, if he wanted to, he could collude with the Russians. Not that I think that is a completely insane theory and the left has gone mad, but he could do whatever he wants. He could run the country from Trump Tower and employ only his kids. Just do what we sent you there for.
Yeah, fascinating. Ann Coulter, and of course, always a pleasure talking with you. Everything going good? Are you writing? What are you writing?
Well, good question. This is normally when I'd be writing another book, but the media has me, so annoyed all the time. I don't really have, I don't have time.
I hear you. Well, thanks, and you'll let me know when you're writing.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you, Joyce.
Good to talk to you. Ann Coulter, of course, the brilliant writer of so many books that predicted all this was going to happen.